Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup, Season 2, Episode 9, A Baby for Christmas?
You never know what you're going to get for Christmas. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Is that a gift that you would want to receive?
No, not particularly. But I was going to say life is like a box of chocolates, specifically for Ken. We know he runs like Forrest Gump, so now we don't know what you're going to get.
Okay, I am being won over by Ken, and this episode is a continuation of it. So I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to be a Ken apologist for the rest of the season.
He started off on the wrong foot for this series, for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever his jokes, his sense of humor wasn't landing. Didn't make sense. It was borderline abusive.
He's really reined it in, though, hasn't he?
But I think abuse would be...
Maybe he was
It's a continuation. That's the recurring amount, if that's how you react to everything. So that would be...
I think this dude is
difference.
just stressed out.
I think he's just... Yeah. Well, now he has something to focus on.
He needs an outlet.
So, yeah, I think it was cooking. It seemed to be cooking and kitchen appliances. He's always doing dishes. Like, he's always got something going on in the kitchen. So maybe we're finally getting some positive energy release from that here. But the episode description for this one is, as Gypsy and her boyfriend Ken count down the final weeks until their baby Aurora's due date, Ken decides to prepare a huge holiday feast for the Blanchard family to show his commitment to building a new vision of family for Gypsy.
Okay, that is not the description that I have.
Okay, this is the one that's literally on the TV episode.
I don't know. I've been looking forward to this episode because I knew that Ken was going to be at like peak behavior of just wiping down kitchen countertops, throwing things in the oven, I don't know, baking, decorating for Christmas.
Not a lot of baking, but there was...
A lot of cooking.
A lot of cooking.
Which are two different talents, baking and cooking.
Different skill sets, some would argue.
All right, well, let's just jump in because that's where we start off. Ken has got all of the food shop. No. This is where he was excited to go shopping.
He's excited. He's figuring out what they're going to do. They're planning out, what do you want to do today? Because Gypsy was attempting to do some yoga in the hallway next to the kitchen. Not an ideal spot for that, maybe, but she was able to roll her yoga mat out. Surprised she wasn't doing Pilates.
You think she just can't be like front? I'm sorry, what?
Getting ready for Jizz Fest round 2. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, both will keep you limber, long and limber.
Well, that's the goal, I think.
Is she just afraid to go in another room because Ken might like run out the front door and escape and be gone?
Yeah, she has to keep eyes on him. He is at his peak flight risk right now, the closer we get to this due date.
But he's really excited to go grocery shopping at what sounded like to be the regular grocery store. He's not going to Italy.
It's not a specific, like set of ingredients that he needs to go procure at a specialty shop of some kind.
That's kind of what he's talking about, though. He's ready to go be inspired by the new, I don't know, the sights, the sounds, the smells, whatever he finds in the grocery store.
The only thing I have to equate that to in my personal experience is trying the samples at Costco. Is that the same thing? I feel like I'm on a different level than Ken's culinary treats that he exposes himself to.
I was not ready for it, for what we saw in the back half of the episode.
When we heard what was on the menu for this meal, I said, that's a little ambitious.
The beef Wellington.
A beef Wellington? And I was like, dude, I hope that this dude, it's not his first time trying this, because if this is a first attempt beef Wellington, that could be a nightmare.
We don't experiment on holidays. That is a rule in our household.
That is a fact, and that is rules to live by that I think that everyone should apply to their life. Personally, you don't experiment on holidays. Stick to what you know. Stick to the classics.
A beef Wellington is a classic.
Not for most home chefs, I would say.
I know. I was waiting for Chef Ramsay to show up and start yelling at him. In a Cajun accent, do you think he could do that?
I don't think so.
Gypsy starts talking about things from her life growing up, her holiday traditions, and she wants to build some sort of mouse out of various food products. Is that what I'm gathering?
I've never heard of this before. And this doesn't seem Christmas related in any way either. And I think Ken was even like, I'm going to have to check the validity of this. This sounds like you're making it up on the spot.
He wanted to shit on it, but also it's like the only tradition that she has expressed from her childhood. So he held back a little bit.
He's trying to cheer her on for it. He's like, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe, yeah, we can incorporate that into the meal.
So we need a cherry for the body of the mouse. And then we needed almonds for the ears.
And then a layer of ground beef and sauteed peas and onions.
No, Rachel, it was not delicious.
The trifle, there's something wrong with it. A couple of layers.
We just aged ourselves with a Friends joke. Where's the laugh track? Cue that up.
Oh, yeah, I don't have one of those.
Now, hard cut, it's Mia's graduation. I guess it's December. She's graduating mid-year from nursing school. And so she's taken her graduation photos. And what was the point? To celebrate Mia or to illustrate what has been going on TikTok this week, where suddenly the internet is convinced that Gypsy is single white femaling her sister.
I think this is kind of odd.
Which part of it?
The things that people will focus in on here to say Gypsy is trying to emulate Mia's life. I would argue that there was a lot of other ways that she could have done that. Maybe go to college.
Maybe some more aspirational ways than just copying the way she dresses.
Yeah. The hair's very different too.
Well, so that's where JizzFest
choice.
2.0 comes in. For anyone who has missed out on it, Gypsy and Ken attended JizzFest for their second anniversary of Aurora's conception.
Well, first anniversary, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry, first anniversary. And she wore a wig to, quote unquote, hide from the authorities, fans. I don't know.
Not the authorities. There's no warrants out right now.
Yet.
Allegedly.
But they're convinced that the wig that she wore was selected because it looked like Mia's hair.
Where's Ken's wig? Ken didn't have a wig.
No, that's why they were discovered.
I spotted that dude from a mile away.
You were at JizzFest?
I wasn't at JizzFest.
I was going to say.
Clearly not.
Second
annual JizzFest. But the wig's on display for Gypsy's maternity photo shoot this episode too. So is this just a juxtaposition of Mia's photo shoot versus Gypsy's photo shoot? Are they making the fans choose whose do we prefer?
Red for red for no. Yeah. I can't even do it.
Red for yes, blue for no.
It takes a lot. It's a lot of talent.
It's a whole other skill set, Carly. You're not ready to explore it.
Just like cooking and baking.
I guess so, yeah. Beef Wellington specifically. But it's going to be red for Mia, blue for Gypsy. Whose photo shoot? Who wore it better?
It's kind of weird that she enjoys wearing wigs, given the origin of having to wear synthetic wigs.
Can we get better wigs too? Like there's better wigs now than the ones that we've seen.
Than the Cinderella wig?
Well, it's okay that hers isn't movie quality, but there could be improvements, perhaps, is what I'm getting at.
I understand, though, cutting your hair short and then having to do like a big photo shoot. A big photo shoot, as though I've been on the cover of a magazine. But going to get photos taken and now you're like, damn, I regret that I cut my hair short because I can do absolutely nothing with it. This is a thing that all women have experienced.
Okay, I'll let you stand on that soapbox because I'm not ready to back that up.
I'll defend Gypsy on this one.
Okay.
Now, would I wear a wig because of the fact that I regretted having cut my hair? I don't know. Because every time I look at the picture, I just know that wasn't my hair.
Yeah, what's your baby going to think? It's going to be like, is that what your hair? That's what mom looked like when she was pregnant?
I think this baby has bigger questions to ask.
Well, we'll get to those, but let's start with just the identity crisis that will form initially here.
You want to start the party prep? Because Ken must have a spreadsheet. He's got all of this planned out. He's got little containers for all the different types of cheese that he's about to grate up. He's cutting a shallot. Not even an onion. He went out and bought shallots.
It's a shallot. That's how you know. It's fancy. Yeah. A little more subtle than an onion. Not as overpowering.
He's planning to make a red wine reduction to pour on top of the beef Wellington.
Casually mentioning this. This is like a 3-course meal that he's describing to us and just casually mentioning all these other accoutrements that he's going to bring out as support for his main dish, the beef Wellington.
Good thing he got Gypsy out of the way because she's off at her prenatal appointment. He said that she didn't want him to attend this one because it was invasive. Is this the one where they stick the thing up? The thing?
Yeah, she didn't want him to get jealous, I guess, or something. Is that what was happening?
Someone tell us what happens at your 35-week appointment.
It's a mystery. It's like an alien abduction to me, is the way that people describe some of that process, I think. The different medical procedures that you have to go to. There's a lot of probing and prodding that takes place.
This is what everyone thought was going to happen when they had the DNA test.
Yeah, that they were going to go in and swab the baby.
Maybe that's what's happening.
It's the final opportunity to swab.
Red for yes, blue for no. So unfortunately, while he's running around the kitchen, what is that game you play where you're in the kitchen preparing soup?
Overcooked.
It's like Overcooked, is
so
it not?
Stressed.
He's just from one counter to another, chopping things up, washing dishes, grating cheese, and then Gypsy calls him from the appointment.
She's 3 centimeters dilated. They're taking her to the hospital now, immediately from her appointment here. This was not part of the visit. This was not planned. This is just something that's happening now. And Ken has to adjust his menu accordingly. He's looking at all of these ingredients that are just piled up around him. And he's like, what?
He thought he was going to have a relaxing day, sipping on a little red wine, cooking in the kitchen. And he's got to turn everything off, pack everything away. He's got to go find where her bag for the hospital is. Because what if they get told they have to stay? They don't know what's going to happen.
She might have to stay overnight. She might have to stay for a couple weeks. The baby's still...
A couple weeks?
Yeah. They were saying that you can kind of hover at this 3 to 4 centimeter.
They're not going to keep her in the hospital for a couple weeks. This is America, babe.
Not. I hope not. For her sake.
They're going to say, here's 2 Tylenol and a steroid shot. Head out on your way.
Enjoy your beef Wellington.
The whole time I'd be eating that, I'd be thinking, what if I go into labor and I got to give birth with beef Wellington sitting in my gut?
Oh, don't push. Not yet. Please don't.
I feel like that would take a long time to digest.
Oh, yeah.
Just sitting like a brick wrapped in that pastry dough, like a Chipotle burrito.
The puff pastry doesn't forget.
He can't find the hospital bag, which is very funny. Also, what is it like it looked like a reusable grocery bag or something from, you know, the ones that they have when you check out at TJ Maxx?
No.
You never look at them? That's one of my favorite things of standing in line. Is you get to see all the new designs.
All the corgi ones and the cat ones. Cats with baguettes and stuff. Yeah. Okay, I remember those.
It was attuned to that.
A little bit.
Akin to that.
Yeah, I guess. But like, it wasn't an overnight bag. It didn't even close or zip.
That's why he can't find it. It doesn't look like a bag that you would pack to bring to the hospital.
It looks like a bag of baby stuff, which is in the nursery.
Which has all the other baby stuff.
It's just full of baby stuff. So it just looks like another bag of baby stuff in the baby room. I would be confused too, if we're being honest. But dude needs to pack his own bag too. He's got to be prepared for this.
He hasn't thought through that at all.
I don't think he has.
He's thinking she's 35 weeks pregnant.
He's been working on his menu.
I got a whole nother month.
He's been working on the 4-course dining experience. That's all he's been thinking about for weeks at this point.
That and like hanging tinsel and things, buying poinsettias. What else did you see in the background? This house is decorated from top to bottom.
There are nutcrackers on every surface.
Which we know Gypsy's not a fan of.
There's a jar of peppermints, just the little peppermint rounds, like a glass jar. That's half full because I'm sure every time he walks by it, he has to pop another mint.
That's to serve people on the way out after your meal.
Yeah, that must be it. Those are really triggering mints for me, though, because I don't know why. I kept choking on them when I was younger. There are like multiple instances of trauma that I have associated with those little red and white rounds.
Slow down, man.
No, it wasn't even that. I don't know what it was. I think I did like half swallow and it got stuck in my throat like during... I think it was 4th grade. We were taking like the proficiency test, the state tests, and I just was choking on this thing. And
wow.
Yeah.
That's
Had to go to the nurse.
traumatic.
She sent me back. And so then I was like,
They thought you were just trying to get out of taking that test.
I was trying to take it. And I was doing great on the tests. Come on. If anything, now you're impacting this because I'm not going to have the opportunity to get a clean shot at it here. Yeah. So I had to pretend like I threw up in the bathroom and then tell everybody that I threw up. So I had to lie.
I don't think I would
go home.
Oh, so that you could leave.
Yeah, because the nurse was like, "Oh, well, if you didn't throw up, then go back to class."
That is a surefire way to leave anything: a job, school, work.
Just vomit.
Just tell someone that that's what's going on. They don't want to know the details after that.
Yeah, the nurse gave me it was a little because she said if you didn't throw up, then go back to class. And so I went back to class, and then I went into the bathroom again, and I said, "Oh, I threw up."
Unfortunate news. Yeah, actually.
Turns out.
We've got a recent development. I did, in fact, vomit.
Breaking news. This just happened. Our worst fears have been confirmed.
She knew.
Yeah, she looked right at me and was bullshitted. Like, okay, all right. But I never left school for anything. It wasn't like a perpetual thing. It was probably the only time I'd ever gone to the nurse. This is why I don't ask people for help. I think this is just ingrained in me now.
I much prefer those kind of powdery mints.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're not like the flat round. They're like a
little circular kind of.
Like a little nug.
A nug, yeah. Those are much better.
You know what ones are really good, which I never choked on, the exact same shape and size though? The little chocolate and green mint ones. Have you ever had those? Those were usually at like
when
hometown buffet and stuff like that.
I don't remember. We went on a cruise and they put those on our pillows.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the highlight of every day.
Very nice. It's something to look forward to. Yeah. But those I never had an issue with. Never. It's just the red and white ones.
Maybe he's hoping Gypsy will choke one down.
Maybe. I don't know. Is that the plan?
What else did he have problems with? He's trying to get to the hospital now because he's got a meter there.
Oh, my God.
Car doesn't have gas.
Well, it's a long drive, so he has to prepare for this now. So he goes to get gas. The camera person is already telling him, like, hey, take your time. Like, there's no reason to rush or floor it to the hospital and get there 15 minutes sooner. It's not going to make a difference. It's just please take your time, go slow. And Ken is trying to convince them, I'm calm, I'm good, this is fine.
This fucking gas pump won't work.
But he stops off for gas and the pump's not working and he's losing his shit and he is doing donuts in the parking lot to go flip around to the other pump. Slamming that nozzle around.
He's crashing out, man.
He is struggling. He's running people off the road, blowing past them on the highway. To be fair, they were doing like
They were hugging the line.
They were doing like 35 in the left lane, so blow them off the road. Okay? Like, I'm going to go ahead and give you full access clearance. Yeah.
He's dodging gators on the highway.
You need to let him know.
He's getting there as fast as he possibly can. This man has clearly never had someone else close to him who has had a baby because this didn't seem like it was that big a deal.
It wasn't an emergency. It was just she's in the hospital. So,
I think he's really freaked out by the mention of the steroid shots and how they're supposed to help the baby's lungs develop.
Yeah, I don't think he fully knew like what the risks were. Is this bad news? He didn't even know if it was bad news, and nobody wants to tell him if it's bad news because then he's really going to freak out. This is him not freaking out. So, like, let's not push him over the edge and have him fully freak out because that's going to get really bad for everybody.
It's kind of uneventful at the hospital.
I think my favorite part was how they were there for a couple of hours. They're still checking in for updates, seeing where we're at. And Ken is looking at his watch and he's like, well, I mean, if we get out of here at like 4, I think I'll still be able to plate by 6.
It's like, it's a race against time. We're either going to have a baby or a beef Wellington at the end of this. And I'm not sure which.
And his beef Wellington is dying in the pass. And he is ready to get that red wine reduction going. Please. He needs times. He needs accurate times. That's all he's asking for.
He gets lucky because they do release her. Because she's, I guess, not dilated any further. Release her from the hospital.
Discharge her from the hospital.
Oh, she got released from prison.
She wasn't being held against her will in the hospital.
Well, that just tells you where my head's at. She gets to go home, but she's on strict bed rest from here on out for the rest of the pregnancy.
So Ken's like, great, this is best case scenario. You stay over there on the couch. I'm going to get to work.
He's going to put her phone on the other side of the room.
Oh, sorry, Gypsy. I thought it needed to charge. So I'll just leave that over there. Why don't you just turn on Muppet Christmas Carol and enjoy, okay?
See you in a couple hours.
Enjoy.
Stay out of the kitchen. Was this like a pre-Christmas gathering? That's what it seemed like. It was like a Ken's Christmas party. And this was a fabulous event.
Look, I had my doubts, especially with the interruptions that took place. There are so many different things that could have gone wrong now with the timing, with the prep, with
He's
all
making
of
a
these
green bean casserole as Rod and Christy and Mia show up.
He has sides, he has appetizers, he has main course, and the beef Wellington comes out of the oven, and it is gorgeous.
A sight to behold. It's also ginormous.
It's huge. And so then that was my other concern, because then I looked at the sheer size and mass and volume and weight of this thing.
You thought it was raw.
And I said, all right, let's see the cross cut. And when they cut into this thing, it's perfect. I don't know how he does it. How did he do this? Ken.
He pulled off this beautifully cooked meal and took Gypsy to the hospital for a couple hours in the same day.
It was like watching an episode of Chopped. And that was the mystery ingredient that they threw into his basket was you have a 5-hour time delay where between your prep and your cooking,
you might have a baby.
You might have a baby. Go check on it. And he was not expecting to do that, but he overcame those obstacles and he shined through in the end.
He shopped for Christmas gifts and wrapped them?
He was apologizing, pre-apologizing before distributing out the gifts. I'm sorry I don't know you all well enough to buy you your perfect Christmas gift this year.
But here is the exact gift that you were hoping to receive this year.
But I'm going to try my best based on the limited information that I have available to me. And he nails it with everybody. He got Rod a duck call. That's all this man wanted.
He asked for that, but the surprise was the jacket. The hunting jacket.
Yeah, that was a bonus because it's always good to have another one.
With the perfectly situated pocket for him to put his iPhone in.
Love to see it. Yeah, it's great. And also bath bombs. Who knew? I did not peg Rod as a bath bomb guy.
Can we get a collab between Rod and Meredith Marks on bath bombs? Bath bombs were my thing. She would be upset about that.
Yeah, she doesn't like the competition.
Good thing this is on Lifetime and not over on Bravo.
Have another turf war.
Did you see that Whitney's cosmetics company has shut down?
No, but probably from the tariffs. Didn't help.
Well, it's not going to help with the Alibaba rumors.
Nope, that's not going to help. The drop shipping is suffering.
Christmas was beautiful. We didn't hear Gypsy say much. She seemed to be sitting on the couch having contractions for the majority of it.
Something tells me she had a couple of Tylenols. Yeah. Couple of Tylenol 3s in her system, maybe.
Don't start that rumor. Oh, man.
I just think it's great. Everybody's here. It's beautiful. They feel good.
Having flashbacks from Love is Blind. I was addicted to ibuprofen.
Over-the-counter ibuprofen.
So now we're going to Mia's pinning ceremony because she's becoming a nurse. It's not a graduation, right? It's a pinning ceremony.
It's like part of the graduation, but it's a different specific thing for the nurses. Yeah.
And of course, Gypsy can't go because all the attention has to be on her.
Because Gypsy 9 months ago had her own pinning service, and that has led us
dealing with the consequences.
She's still waiting for that to resolve.
No, I'm sure she's going to get ripped apart for this, but it does turn out that when you're on bed rest, you can't sit in a car for 2.5 hours in each direction to go to a graduation. Nor would you want to.
Yeah, this is one of those where it's like, oh, no. Oh, shucks. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to do that. At 9 months pregnant, sit in the car for 5 hours that day.
She did call Mia.
She did.
Wish her a little congratulations. Tell her that she wished she could be there. Get a picture of what she's wearing so that she could shop for it while she's laying on the couch.
Where did you order it from, though? Do you remember? Specifically? I know that people are going to look at this scene and then say that this is Gypsy making it about herself. I think Mia did go ahead and go out of her way to be like, dude, you shouldn't be coming to this either. Mom and dad are here for me. That's cool. I get the situation that you are in, and like, no, you don't need to be going out of your way to do this.
I wonder, though, where the school was. Is it closer to where Ryan lives? Because then maybe she should have tried to have the baby in a hospital closer to him so that he could show up there and sign the paperwork that they talk about. It's probably the opposite direction. It would have been 5.5 hours from where he lives.
Even further.
I think the whole point of this was for us to see Rod read Mia that very beautifully written letter about how he's her number one fan no matter what, which, I mean, when you back your other daughter after...
Shit.
I just slipped into a Teresa Giudice accent. When you support your other daughter after she murders her mother, I think you have to back the one who's making all the right decisions in life.
I gotta tell you, I'm just proud of yins. Like, that's what it comes down to. I'm proud of yins.
Why are we going Delco?
Because you did Dorter.
It's North Jersey.
Oh, man, that's different.
Will Gypsy be the mother that Rod is as a father?
What? Oh, hold on. Yeah, let me map that out in my brain.
Will she be as good a mother as Rod is a father? Except for, like the whole period of time where he wasn't in her life. But aside from that.
Not to her. Is Gypsy going to be Rod dad to Gypsy or Rod dad to Mia?
Mia.
Okay. Is she going to be that? Is she going to be Rod dad to Mia to Aurora?
The bar's been set high from this singular scene. Do you think he pushed 2 David Yurman boxes with $4,000 worth of jewelry towards her at the end of the meal?
I don't think so.
No?
No, probably not. Even though it was her favorite kind of turquoise.
The big drama of the episode, which is leading up to the birth of the baby, is that Gypsy has had a lot of time while she's been sitting on the couch, so she's been making phone calls, and she has found out that it is in fact possible for the baby to be born and have her last name instead of Ryan's. Unfortunately, the catch is Ryan's going to have to sign off on that, and he can't just do that whenever he wants to. He's going to have to come to the hospital while she's giving birth and sign this document so that the baby could be a Blanchard.
Yep, that's where you lost him. I was pretty much convinced that Ryan was not capable of leaving his apartment.
He does go to his mother's house.
He does.
We see him cruising for victims with Pixie.
Sniffing them out. Yeah, just trying to... Cruising for victims. Oh, man. Poor Pixie. Pixie in the front seat, on the lap, driving.
Got to get her own seat, Ryan.
Yeah, come on now.
We got to strap her in.
You're a more responsible dog dad than that. We know. Come on.
Got to put her in the back where there's no airbags. There are a lot of rules to having dogs.
Safety first.
It's kind of like having a baby.
Doesn't he know it?
But is he having a baby? He's still questioning if this baby could be his.
How are you still questioning this? Why? Why are you still questioning this?
So Gypsy ends up contacting his attorney?
Her attorney reaches out to his attorney.
Well, that's how you handle things. My people call your people.
Right, that's good.
Why didn't she just get on TikTok and say, Ryan, I need you to come to the hospital?
She had to go to the center of the ring and call him out from backstage. Gypsy can't cut a promo like Ryan can cut a promo.
No, I'm getting more and more convinced that whatever they're doing on social media, because they have been going back and forth relentlessly for the past, week and a half. I'm starting to think that they have cooked up their own wrestling storyline. That's what they're doing. They're playing something out here. As we get closer to the finale, they're going at each other on social media, getting all this attention.
They're not breaking kayfabe, yeah. But in wrestling terms, is it a shoot or is it a work?
I have no idea what either of those things mean.
Carly, you gotta decide for me. You gotta be the tiebreaker. A shoot is something that's not scripted. A work is something that is planned in the wrestling world.
I think it started out as a work and it became a shoot.
So now they're like off script and they're still going at it. Maybe they had an idea of this is what we're going to do to drum up interest in the show or to maintain ratings or keep the viewer base interested. And now it has devolved into actual beef Wellington between the two of them.
That's exactly what I think. Somehow the word does get back to Ryan. He has not answered Gypsy at all.
Well, Gypsy texted his mom too. So then when he goes over to his mom's and they're talking about it, it seems like they've had a discussion about this as well.
He's really upset about the fact that she did that. But what else is she supposed to do? Because the baby's going to come out at a certain date and you have to decide whether or not you're going to go do this.
I'm coming out. The baby's like, I'm ready to get out. I'm sick of all of this food that keeps coming down here. The beef Wellington is meh.
Is that the review we were waiting for?
Either that or my compliments to the chef. This kid's trying to bust out to be like, yo.
She's ready to start solids.
Look, Ken, fabulous. That was amazing, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I just had to tell you in person.
I'm ready for you to start parenting me.
But Ken was born 2 weeks early, because then this is what's the whole theory that Ryan begins crafting here, is that the timeline just don't make sense. Because that could be my baby. I don't want to sign over the rights where it wouldn't be an Anderson, because it might be.
Okay, but all he is signing is to have the baby's last name be Blanchard, not Anderson. He's still the father on the birth certificate. They can't change that because they haven't had the amount of time that the state requires that has passed since their divorce was finalized. So all it is saying the baby's last name is going to be Blanchard, but it's still going to say that Ryan's the father on the birth certificate until they go back and fix that.
Which also doesn't mean anything when a paternity test says that you are indeed not the father. Ken is the father.
I don't know that he believes that paternity test. He's got to wait for his own.
An unbiased paternity test.
But even if it ended up being your baby, okay, that'll be discovered. They have to do a paternity test to get his name off the birth certificate. He's just trying to make this hard for Gypsy.
I think part of it is, and like part of it is it's difficult for him because then he's not even grasping the full reasoning of why this is happening because he's seeing it as like disowning his firstborn child. It's not your kid.
No, he wants to punish Gypsy because she went and did what she did, and these are the consequences. And why does he have to be inconvenienced to drive hours to the hospital that she's going to have the baby in to go and do this for her? I do get that aspect of it.
Look, we just defended Gypsy for not wanting to drive 2.5 hours to Mia's graduation pinning ceremony. I get it.
I'll defend you too.
I'll defend Ryan. I wouldn't want to go to the hospital either. Is there something I can sign ahead of time? Is there something you can email me?
No.
Those
we're
are
living
alternative
way
solutions.
in the past in the state of Louisiana.
No. That's not how this works. We need to have witnesses. No faxing, no PDFs.
He's really struggling to come up with any reason why this is advantageous for him. And I think that it would be very beneficial for him to, I don't know, do a TikTok live as he's walking into the hospital while Gypsy is giving birth. Like, won't that start some rumors?
Wouldn't there be like closure? Isn't it a way for you to kind of put this behind you? You don't want to put it behind you, bro. I think that's the issue.
That's nice that that's the direction you went. No, I'm trying to figure out how he could possibly spin this into something that's going to get him more attention.
But for him to say, I don't see the benefit of it for me, well, it could be a conclusion to this and you could move on with your life. But I don't think he wants to.
No.
He has no interest in that.
I would text her back and be like, absolutely. I will do that for you. And then I would pay 15 paparazzi to be at the hospital the minute that I walk through the front doors.
Oh, you don't have to pay them. They'll be there. You just tip them off. That's all. They know.
Let's play this game a little better. I almost called him Ken. Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Yeah.
Blue for Ken, red for Ryan. The day is coming. He better make sure the car has gas in it because in the middle of the night, Gypsy's not even at Ken's house. She's over at Rod and Christie's and her water breaks, so they have to rush her to the hospital.
I sneezed and it broke.
Halfway.
Half broke. How do you know if it halfway broke? Well, I guess by that time she was at the hospital and they let her know, hey, we're going to have to go get the rest of this.
I don't think she did a self-inspection.
Yeah, I don't think so. Wouldn't recommend it.
And that's it. We're just waiting on Gypsy to dilate a little further to have this baby.
The family's all here. Everybody's ready.
Ken made it to the hospital. He set up a
flat top grill. He's making... No, he's not. Come on. He's got to scrub in for that.
He's got, 800 thread count sheets that he's laid out. He's ready to take a long nap. Gypsy's got the epidural. He's here for the long haul. No dishes for him to do in this room.
So he's stressing. Yeah, he's nervous. Nothing to focus on.
Next episode, Gypsy and Ken are thrilled to welcome baby Aurora into the world. But her early arrival bolsters Ryan's hopes that perhaps he is the father.
Absolutely not, sir. Please stop.
This man's going to act like he has never heard of a baby being born a few weeks early.
That's what he's playing it up as. And when we found out that Ken was born literally 2 weeks early.
And was like a full-term sized baby. This man was 10 pounds. Did they say 10 pounds?
Almost 10, nearly 10 pounds. And Rod nearly spit his beer out when he heard Ken's mom describing his fat ass being born. Her words.
Not ours.
Not ours.
So we hope you'll join us next episode where we see baby Aurora entering the world and perhaps we see Ryan enter the hospital.
I doubt it, though. You can't bring Pixie in there.
A few quick announcements before we go. We are also recapping Polyfamily, which is a brand new show to TLC on Tuesday nights, and it's dropping here the same day as Gypsy, so you can go listen to it now.
Yeah, I think it's right behind this one in the feed, so if you're looking for Polyfamily, that's where it is. If you're liking what you're hearing, we got tons of other content over on our Patreon. Check the episode description for the link to that. You can get access to all of our episodes ad-free and early.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.